Hey everyone, it's Jen. I recently celebrated my 40th birthday, which felt like a milestone birthday. And I have been reflecting a lot since my birthday on using yoga for healthy aging. And we can use our yoga practice to keep our bodies both strong and flexible as we age. The key is to make sure we're not moving too quickly through the poses and to make sure that we're doing enough repetitions of poses when we're moving in and out. And with the static holds, those longer held poses, to be sure that you're holding for a long enough period of time. So we're going to work with adequate repetitions today, and we're also going to work with some holds that are a minimum of 30 seconds. So you can place your weights to the front short side of your mat, and then we're going to come into wide-kneed child's pose. You're going to place the blanket beneath the knees to support the cartilage of your knees. Bring your big toes together, separate your knees out wide, and then you're going to let your body start to hinge forward so that the belly comes to release and relax between the inner knees and thighs. If you like, you can stack your palms, rest your forehead on your stacked palms. Just feeling a little bit of gentle pressure downward with the elbows and the forearms to help bring the hip bones toward the sitting bones toward the heels. Connecting your mind to the feeling and the movement of your breath. Notice the breath in the belly, the ribs. Taking about 2 more cycles of breath here. After your next exhalation, you can let your hips start to rock up so that you come to tabletop position. So having the hands a little bit wider than your shoulders and sliding your knees beneath your frontal hip points. We'll take a few repetitions of cat-cow. So as you breathe in, start to let your belly release down toward the floor. Your shoulder blades slightly draw together as you lift through your chest. And as you're exhaling, you want to press down into your hands and then take your tailbone under, rounding through the back body. And then as you breathe in, let your belly start to release downward toward the floor, lifting up through the chest bone, slight lift of the chin. And as you're exhaling, pressing downward into your hands, taking your tailbone under, rounding through the spine. And one more time that way, breathing in, let the belly release downward toward the floor, lifting up through the heart. And as you're exhaling, pressing down into your hands, taking your tailbone under, rounding through the spine. As you breathe in, let your belly release down toward the floor one more time. And then as you're exhaling, start to press the balls of the feet into the mat, drawing the belly button in toward the spine as you rise up into the first down dog. And you can take some time here just to slowly pedal through your knees and your feet, feeling a sense of grounding and anchoring through your hands, a sense of strength through your arms as you fluidly move through the feet and the legs, creating that sense of openness up through the feet and the backs of the legs. Taking another deep inhalation and exhalation here. And then you can use your next breath in to take your gaze upward to the space between the hands. And then as gracefully as you can, begin to step your feet forward, coming into the forward fold. As you're breathing in, you can slide your hands up onto your shins, lift the belly away from the thighs, reach out through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, fold back into your legs. You're going to take the weights, catch hold of them in the hands. You want to bend your knees almost like you were coming into chair position. And then draw the low ribs on the front body in as you start to bend your elbows, bringing your weights up toward your chest, reach through the crown of the head, and then rise all the way up until the shoulders are over the hips. Now reach your arms down by your sides. Your palms are facing in toward your legs, knuckles out toward the sides of the room. Soften your elbows a little bit. We're going to breathe in. We're going to take the arms, lift them out to the sides so that the arms come to parallel the floor. A little bit of softness in the elbows. And as you exhale, bring your arms back down by your sides. Again, inhale, let your arms lift out to the sides. As you're breathing out, let your arms come back down into the sides of the body. And again, inhale, lift your arms out to the sides. Exhale, let your arms come back in. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale, lift your arms out to the sides. Exhale to come back in. Last 2 times. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to lower. Reach up through the crown of the head. Inhale, let your arms rise up. Exhale to lower. Now this time we're going to inhale and lift the arms out to the sides. We're going to turn the palms to face forward. Again, just keep the elbows somewhat soft. Breathe in here, and as you exhale, you're going to bring your arms toward one another so that the arms end up running parallel to one another out in front of the chest. And then inhale, open your arms back out to the sides. As you exhale, allow your arms to come toward one another in front of your chest. And then inhale, open your arms back out to the sides. Exhale, draw your arms toward one another in front of your heart. Inhale as you open back up. We're going to do that the last 3 times here. So exhale, let your arms come toward one another in front of your chest. As you inhale, open your arms back out to the sides. Exhale, let your arms come toward one another in front of your chest. As you inhale, open your arms back out to the sides. Last time. Exhale, bring the arms toward one another. Inhale, as you open your arms back out, turn your palms down, and you can let your arms come in to the sides of the body. So you're going to bend your elbows so the heads of the weights come up a little more toward your chest. Take your breath in, tip your tailbone down as you lift the center chest bone toward the weights, maybe a slight lift of your chin. Exhale, let your knees bend. You're going to bring your body forward over your legs. You can set the weights down for just 1 moment. Inhale, slide your hands up onto your shins. Lift your belly away from your thighs. Reach out long through the crown of your head. And then as you're exhaling, you'll fold back into your legs. Now here we want to take the feet maybe 2 or so inches wider. We're going to allow the right knee to bend. Now your right hand can stay on the floor. If you have a block, you can support your right hand with the block, right knee bent deeper. Catch hold of the weight in the left hand so your left arm is kind of dangling there. So revolved forward fold. We'll do a little bit of pulsation here with the left elbow. So as you inhale, draw the left elbow up toward the sky so the elbow will bend as the weight comes in toward the front left chest. And as you exhale, you'll let the arm come back down. Inhale, take the elbow up toward the sky, turning a little bit through the belly, belly button drawing in. Exhale, release the arm. Inhale, let the elbow bend. Draw the belly button in slightly as the elbow lifts up. Exhale to come down. Inhale to take the left elbow up. Exhale to lower down. Last 2 times. Inhale to take the elbow up. Exhale to lower. And then very last one. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to lower. So setting the weight down, taking your feet back underneath of your front hip points for a moment. Inhale, slide your hands up onto your shins, reach out through the crown of your head, and as you're exhaling, folding back into your legs. As you're breathing in, let your knees bend, sweep your arms out to the side, rise up with your arms, and as you're exhaling, prayer hands coming together, sliding down into your heart. So just for a moment, right hand to right thigh, left arm reaching up, slide your left hand down your left thigh and just take a side tilt here for a moment, and then as you're breathing in, we're gonna come back up through the center, reach your fingertips up toward the sky, let your left hand come to your left thigh and take a side tilt over to the left. Okay, as you're breathing in, we're gonna come back up through the center, reach your fingertips up toward the sky, prayer hands moving through your heart, bend your knees, hinge your torso forward over your legs, just humbly bowing forward into the legs, releasing and relaxing the weight of your head as you arrive. Heel toeing your feet out just a little bit wider. And so we're going to bend the left knee now, and the left hand can stay directly on the mat, or you can prop the hand up with a block to provide a little extra height. Bending the left knee to drop the left side of the pelvis a little lower than the right. Catch hold of the weight in the right hand. So as you take your next breath in, bend your right elbow, draw the right elbow point up toward the sky as you turn through your heart. And then as you're exhaling, let your right arm come back down. As you breathe in, let your right elbow bend. Draw it up toward the sky, giving a twist through the belly and the ribs. Lowering the right arm back down. Inhale, draw the elbow point up toward the sky. Exhale to lower. Last few repetitions. Inhale, draw the elbow point up. Exhale to release. Last 2 times. Inhale and exhale, and then very last one. Inhale and exhale. So we'll set the weight down, bring the feet a little bit closer together, so landing the feet about underneath of the hip points. Inhale, slide your hands up onto your shins, taking the halfway lift position. And as you exhale, we're going to step the left foot back. So we're going to come into warrior 2. So as that left foot spins back, steps back, we'll spin the left heel down to the mat. And inhale, let the body rise up so that you come to face the left long side of the yoga mat. Starting in the warrior 2 position, and then taking your right hand, you're going to flip your right palm to face up toward the sky. Taking a nice deep breath in, and then as you exhale, you can let your left hand come to your left thigh as you take a reverse warrior. Now you can stay right here. Now this left hand might also lift a little bit away from the left thigh so that you can turn the thumb to point in toward the left leg while the palm faces back. You can roll your left shoulder blade in a little closer to the spine as your left arm maybe loops around the low back. The left hand may be coming toward the right hip, palm facing out. Taking a deep, slow breath in. Deep, slow breath out. Taking one more inhalation and exhalation here. Now using your next breath in to let your body come back up through the warrior 2. So slowly unthreading the left arm from behind the low back. Stretch out through your arms. Take another breath in, and then on your next exhale, let your hands come down to frame your front foot. And you can spin away from the back left heel. Now again, you can support underneath of your left hand with a block, or it can stay directly on the mat, right knee approximately over the right ankle. Right hand is going to come to the hip, and you're going to turn through your belly and turn through the ribs. Now as we're rotating through the ribs, sometimes the left shoulder has this tendency to want to come with us as we twist. So see if you can keep the left shoulder more in the middle. It's not really drawing into the spine or drawing forward, more in the center. Gaze can be down, and you can keep your right hand on your hip, or you might opt for a half bind like we did in the last pose by stretching your right arm back. It's almost like your fingertips reaching to the back short side. Turn your thumb to point down. Roll your right shoulder blade in and then let your arm wrap around your low back as we take these last few rounds of breath, breathing in. Slow, deep breath out. One last inhale and exhale. We'll unwind that right arm from behind the low back, allowing the right hand to come down, moving the block forward and stepping the right foot back to come into downward facing dog. Now, as you land in the downward facing dog, we're going to take the weight for a moment into the left ball of the foot and breathe in, send the right heel up toward the sky in the downward facing dog split. So as you exhale, we'll take the right knee, we'll draw it in toward the chest, drawing the hips up a little higher and rounding through the spine as the chin slightly comes in. And then as you breathe in, send your right leg back up into down dog split. So just feeling that sense of length out through the spine and out through the crown of your head. This time as you exhale, curl your right knee in toward your right elbow. So round again into the back. Take the hips up a little bit higher, chin slightly in. Inhale as you send your right leg back up so the heel has that light lift to it. We're going to come across the body this time. So exhale, draw your right knee in, draw your hips a little higher, round through your back as your knee comes across your body. And then inhale as you send your right heel up toward the sky. And then this time as you exhale, set your right foot down, downward dog. We'll hold here. We'll do all of those poses on the second side. We'll just take a few moments just to hold in the down dog. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Feeling the depth of your breath across the back of your throat. So we find ourselves in an active pose, but cultivating this consciousness around the breath pattern allows us to stay focused, calm, and centered. Last breath in. And last breath out. Now this time as you're breathing in, take your gaze up to the space between your hands and start to slowly walk your feet forward. Arriving there in the forward fold, breathing in, slide your hands up onto your shins, lift out through the belly, reach out through the crown of your head. As you're exhaling, we're going to step the right foot back. So you're going to step the right foot back first in that lunge position, then spin the right heel down to the mat. Inhale as you let your arms cartwheel around, turning to face the right long side of your mat in the warrior two position. We're going to keep the arms out from the heart for a moment, but flip the left palm up to face toward the sky. Take a deep breath in. Now as you're exhaling, your right hand can come down to land on your right thigh as you arc your body into the reverse warrior shape. Now remember, you can stay here. This right hand can lift away from the right thigh. Turn the thumb to point down and toward your right thigh. Roll your right shoulder blade in toward your spine a bit as your right arm maybe loops across your low back, with the right hand landing more on the left hip area, palm facing out. Stretching through the left knee forward while you reach through the left side body and the arm. Take a deep inhale. Deep exhale. Deep breath in, and a last exhale out here. Now as you're breathing in, can let your arms come back out to parallel the floor, just finding the shape of warrior two, taking a breath in, and then on that next exhale, letting your hands come down to frame your front left foot and spinning off of your back right heel. Now you can keep the right hand to the mat or prop it up with a yoga block as you slide your left hand to your left hip and start to give some turning through the belly, through your ribs, and through your heart. Being mindful, though, to not let the right shoulder draw so far forward. Left hand can stay on the hip while the left knee lines up pretty much over the ankle. You can stay there. You can reach your left arm back behind you. Turn your thumb to point down so that the palm faces out. Then you can roll your left shoulder blade in a little bit to your spine, looping your arm around your low back, taking a half bind. Deep inhalation. Deep exhalation. Taking one more breath in and one last slow breath out. Okay, so be mindful as we're unwinding that left arm. So always want to be mindful of the shoulder joint, just slowly letting the left hand come down, taking the block and shifting it forward, and then stepping the left foot back into the downward facing dog. Now, as you come here for the down dog, we're going to let the weight come into the right ball of the foot. You're going to inhale, send your left heel up toward the sky, taking the downward dog split. And then as you exhale, you're going to curl the left knee in toward the ribs, pressing into your hands, taking your hips up a little bit high as you round your spine. Inhale as you send your left heel back up toward the sky, down dog split. Now as you're exhaling, curl your left knee in toward your left elbow, press into your hands, rounding through your back body. And then as you're breathing in, send your left heel back up. We're going to take the twist across the body. So as you exhale, take your left knee, take it into a twist as though you're reaching it over toward your right elbow. And then as you're breathing in, sending your left heel up one more time. Exhale as you bring the left foot down. You take those moments here just to pause, draw the chin slightly in as you reach out long through the crown of your head. Feeling your heart almost as though it's reaching toward your thighs, but to counterbalance that, you want to draw your belly button in toward your spine. Feel your lowest rib slightly draw together. Take a deep inhale. Slow exhale. Okay, taking one more full inhale. And full exhale. And taking your knees, lowering them lightly down to the mat. You're going to lean a little bit more weight into the right knee so that you can pick up your bent left knee, hooking the bent left knee behind the right. So for this, you may need to move your hands in just a little bit closer to your legs, move your feet apart, the shape of the cow face position, Gomukhasana. You're just going to breathe in, let your belly release down toward the floor, and then as you exhale, start to press into your hands a bit, round through your back. Again, you might have to walk your hands in a little bit toward your legs as you start to take your hips down toward the floor. And so you might rock out of that just a little bit, especially if feels like a lot of restriction in the outer hip. That's how my hips feel today. So I just kind of sink in a little bit toward the stretch. And almost like a wave with a breath, rise out just a bit and then just kind of sink in. And as you come to a place where you feel like you can hold and take a few extra rounds of breath. So you might think about the edge, right? So minimal edge where you feel like you can go into a pose that creates elongation in a certain area of the body, but you can breathe really deep, allowing the tissues of your body to slowly release their tension, and then maybe going in just a little bit deeper. Taking just another few moments here. Last exhale here, and then you can start to let your hips start to rise back up, your right knee coming to the mat. Walk your hands forward, move your feet closer together, and allow your left knee to uncross from the right. And then you can take your hips and maybe give a sway from side to side. So we'll just do that on the second side. So ground into your left knee, pick up your right knee, hook it behind your left, and you can just start to walk your hands in as your feet move a little bit apart. You can breathe in, let your belly start to release down toward the mat. So you have the cow face legs with a cow tilt in the spine. And then as you exhale, press into your hands and start to move your hands maybe a little bit closer as you start to bring the hips toward the floor. And so you can just kind of move with that a few times. If there's a lot of restriction in the outer left hip, or if the pose is just overly intense in your low back. So just moving with that, moving with the breath. Good. Taking a few more rounds of breath, maybe settling into some moments of stillness. So we can just come back to thinking about our theme, right? So how can we use the practices of yoga to support our body? So our body has so many jobs that it's doing day in and day out. And how can we best support the processes of our body so that overall we cultivate well-being, physical health, mental and emotional health? Taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Okay, and then just starting to slowly rock back out of that as your hips lift up, bring your feet closer together, uncross your knees. You can take a little sway of your hips from side to side. All right, and then we'll come to our seat. So you can shift your knees off of the blanket. You can actually fold your blanket up a time or two. You can sit on the edge of the blanket and you can face out to the long side of your mat so it'll take a wide angle. So basically like a middle split position. So you may find this easier on your pelvis and your low back to sit up on the edge of the blanket. So it's just going to press out through your heels so that the 10 toes feel like they're drawing back to your shin bones. You can just anchor down into your fingerprints for a moment. So you just want to create like this light feel, up through your spine. Relax your shoulders down your back. Now, you may even just opt to stay here. I know this position can be challenging for some, especially if the inner leg lines are somewhat restricted. So feel free, stay here. Or bring your hands to your inner thigh area to the mat, and then you can just walk your hands a little bit forward. Taking the chin just ever so slightly in. Continue to press through your heels. Noticing the sitting bones just gently ground down. Just a few more slow cycles of breath. Last inhale and exhale. And you can start to slowly walk your hands back in toward the legs. And you can bring your legs to a simple cross-leg position. So you can start to lean back onto your hands. Start to float your legs up. So you can first just bring your shin bones so that they're about parallel to the floor. Lift up through your heart for a moment. Then as you take that next exhale, you can start to let your legs cross as you shift your hips back, or your shoulders back over your hips. Let your eyes softly close for a moment, sitting nice and tall. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. So at your home, you might opt to stay in seated meditation for a longer period of time. You might also opt to come down onto your spine and rest in Shavasana. If you're ready to shift into the rest of your day or evening, you can let your hands join together at your heart as you reach up through the crown of your head. The light within me bows to that same light that exists within you. Namaste.